Now, there is a lot of talk about the magic of the FA Cup and things not being what they used to be. So what exactly was it like in the so-called good old days? What about 1975 and the non-league team who held the then-league champions to a draw and their goalkeeper who saved a penalty to take the tie to a replay? The club was Wimbledon. The goalkeeper was Dickie Guy. Johnny Phillips tells the story.
Here is Wimbledon director Ivor Heller with his childhood hero, Dickie Guy, the man at the centre of one of the greatest FA Cup runs of all time. When Southern League amateurs Wimbledon beat First Division Burnley at Turf Moor in the third round in 1975, it was the shock of the decade. Next up, Leeds United at Elland Road, the champions of England who were on their way to the European Cup final. Now, after twice recovering from cancer of the larynx, Guy speaks through a voice box. Back in 1975, he was juggling a day job with his football career.
Well, I was working in the docks at the time as a tanning clerk. Millwall docks were first, and then West India docks. And I absolutely loved it. The guys in there, all football people. And I was working with Harry Redknapp's dad, old Harry.
Actually, the first round when we beat Bath City, that to me was, that was the start of something special because, it was a 92nd minute Mick Mahon rocket from the wing and a boggy, rainy day. All the games were called off in London. There was a massive crowd at Plough Lane. It was an absolutely incredible atmosphere. We beat them in the last minute. Then we beat Kettering Town, who were big rivals of ours. And then we drew Burnley.
The Burnley game was fantastic to beat a side that were third in the First Division. We were so full of confidence. And instilled a confidence in us that we weren't afraid to play anybody. And then to go to Leeds and play in front of 46,000, well, it was brilliant.
Leeds, the most fearsome side in the country.
We walked out to the park and I was making out or reading the programme, I was shaking in my boots. They were banging on the audience around the pitch saying, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds. I thought, oh my God, what are we going to get into here?
Leeds threw everything at Wimbledon, but Guy kept them out. And then in the dying minutes, Leeds won a penalty. Peter Lorimer, the player with the hardest shot in the land, stepped up to face the part-time goalkeeper.
On the radio and everything, it's gone, and Guy saves the penalty, and I've got this picture of him flinging himself across and, his hand's almost breaking as he tips it round the corner, this, that and the other. Then you get to see it on the big match. And he scuffed it. He hurt his foot more than he hurt his hand. It was absolutely unbelievable. And then, this is the amazing thing, is they fly him back to London and everything, and he's on the big match with his furry coat on and and women all over him and everyone's adoring Dickie Guy's now the biggest name in British football for a couple of days.
What about those last few minutes?
Well, it was all a blur now. I just couldn't remember them. It just recollects it for me now. I thought he blew up a bit soon, actually. It went so quickly the second half.
Guy was the star of the fourth round. Leeds would go on to win the replay, but years later, the keeper came to the club's rescue once more. This time, in 2002, the FA had given permission for Wimbledon's owners to relocate to Milton Keynes. Guy spoke out against the franchise plans.
Do you support a team?
Yeah.
Who do you support?
Wolves.
If you've been a Wolves supporter all your life and someone came in and said, I'm sorry, we're taking our club, we're moving it 80 miles away, how would you feel? I thought it was an outrageous decision. It
wasn't just Dickie, there were several other players and like ex-managers and lots of people that were involved with the club were bang behind the fight against what actually happened. But what it enabled us to do was to garner interest from other people, to get people on the same page as us. Yeah. Dickie's the bravest man I know. He is an inspiration to everybody, not just at this club, but everywhere that we go. What he's done, what I've seen him do, is incredible. And I'm just going to give you one quick story, and it's one of my favourite Dickie stories. But Dickie, when he was just recovering from being really ill and just learning to speak again, came on a pre-season tour, and we were in La Manga. The whole team, we're in the square in La Manga, and everyone that comes on a tour for the first time has to sing. Right, so I've turned around and said, look, everyone's done their singing except for him. And he stood on a chair in front of everyone in a square in La Manga with a lot of people in the square, and he sang Wandering Star by Lee Marvin. I was born. Honestly, there was barely a dry eye in the room because it was one of the bravest, most unbelievable selfless acts I've ever seen, and it was incredible, and it was a wonderful moment, and people still talk about it. You'd had a few pints all right by then, because the one thing that the voice box has never done is stop him drinking. There is no better club president in the whole of football, and I'd argue with anyone that says there is.
Absolutely brilliant to see Dickie Guy doing so well. And, you know, as a Hartlepool fan, I've been down to Wimbledon a number of times, and Dickie always gives you the best welcome. And, yeah, I mean, I'm sure you remember those days, Tomo, don't you? You know, when Dickie Guy was defying a Leeds side who were such a sensational side at the time.
Leeds United at that given time was just incredible. 1975, it was just fantastic. You'd go through all the players, you knew them, household names, to do what he did. And we've been going on about that save and what it was, and it sort of registered in your mind no matter how old you were. And it was quite unbelievable, because that was just, to do that against Leeds United at Ellen Road was just astonishing. But fair play to him. That was a lovely interview. We've done some good ones, but that was absolutely terrific.
Yeah, and it's hard to imagine now, but he really did become a household name for some time after that, Charlie.
Big match.
Absolutely, but he's correct in saying for 2 days, 3 days, he's probably the biggest name in football, because that's what you're doing. I mean, you look back in those days, there was something always about an upset, but, you know, to go after teams in a really big scarp, especially like Leeds, because Leeds had superstar football players at the time. I remember seeing them in 1970 and right through the 70s, it was brilliant. But to have a glory day like that is very special. And to come across as humble appreciation, and even as just the soft stories they tell of each other, that was a lovely, lovely piece.